All right, this is what's going on here today. These ribs have been sitting out here overnight. They were in the deep freeze last night and they're thawed out. There are 3 in that pack and we're gonna get to it today. So cue the intro music. Kick it! Okay, wanted to show you what we got going on so far here. Having a lot of problems with the microphone today, a lot of popping and crackling going on in there. I'm trying to figure that out. One cool thing is, if you pay close attention, you can actually hear Sarge breathing on this track. So he's definitely going to get producer credits for this because he breathed on the track. Anyway, I got the aluminum foil out here. It's a Reynolds brand grilling heavy duty style. It's wide enough to accommodate what I'm typically cooking. It's supposed to be thicker, but in fact, if we aren't careful, the rib bones will actually poke through this. So we got to be careful when we're flipping it over. I'm going to take these out of the package, double check and make sure that there's no membrane on these, which I kind of don't think that there is, but I'll show you how to check that out because it's not fun to be trying to chew through a membrane when you're enjoying your ribs. I'm going to get those cleaned off and then I'll show you how I check on them and then get them slathered up and ready to go. Well, we're back. Okay, got my tools here to check for this membrane. Some people like to use a toothpick. I like to use a little fork about this size. Some people calls it a Kaiser blade.
Some folks call it a sling blade. I call it a Kaiser blade.
But you just kind of poke around and see if you can get any kind of material to come up on the meat here, and I'm not seeing that. In fact, I'm kind of poking right through what is on here, so I haven't got a membrane on these. And if it's good for one of them, usually it's good for all of them. There's a little bit on this back one here. Let me switch this out so I can show you. See kind of a layer there of, I don't know, call it fat or flab or what, but use a paper towel and some kind of a poking device, and you can pull this up and grab a hold of it easily with a paper towel. And this is what it does. You kind of tear this off of here. And again, this is just not the best thing to have when you're cooking these. When you go to eat them, it kind of just gets in the way of things, and it's not very appetizing. But this one doesn't have very much on it at all. I'll see if I can get any more off of here. But the paper towel is really the trick to being able to get a hold of this stuff, because once you grab it with that, it comes right up, and you can really get a hold of it. Otherwise, if you're trying to use your fingers, it's not really going to happen. But that's off of there enough for me. I don't see much of it anymore, so that's going to do it for the membrane piece of that. So next we're going to get to the slathering, and then we're done basically for prep on this. It's not very hard. Ribs, it's really easy to do. I'll show you. Basically what I've got are 2 things. I've got a yellow mustard that doesn't really matter what kind you're using. If you've got a favorite mustard, use that. I use the cheapest stuff I can get my hands on because it usually doesn't come out to translate too much in the flavor from what I can tell, but that doesn't matter. And the other thing that I've got is just a rub. I picked this up at the local hardware store because that's where all the best rubs come from, is your local home improvement warehouse for some reason. But this is the one that I'm enjoying right now, and I got an extra one in case this one runs out, which it's pretty low in there. I've been using the heck out of that on other stuff too. So we'll go through all that today. I'm going to just pound as much of this on there as I can, and then what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit out. Basically, I'm gonna finish these up. I'm gonna wrap them up real tight. I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator until I go to bed tonight. When I go to bed, I'm gonna take them out and lay them on the counter. I'm gonna have them at room temperature when I wake up in the morning, and they are gonna be ready to go on the grill and cook the fastest that way. Plus, they kind of cure a little bit. But first step is to just slather them up. Again, make sure when you're doing this that you're I'm gonna go a little bit sparingly because I'm starting to run out of this crummy mustard, so I'm not gonna use a whole bunch on it. I'm gonna get that going, flip it over here. Again, be careful because of the bone in there. Probably just screwed that up, but let's see here. So yeah, just get some mustard on here. And you're really just putting a coating of this stuff on here just to help get this rub to stick. It also has some vinegar in it, kind of breaks down some of the fat, gets that process going. And again, this is just in order to get these coated with something for the rub to stick, and then begin to almost marinate overnight, but really soak in. Yeah, this one's a different color than that one, so that'll be awesome. Hopefully that works out. But we're gonna get on here with this. We're gonna go really liberally with this stuff. Get this just coated on here. Real thick, real heavy. And we'll do it over and over again tomorrow when we're cooking. But right now we want to get this just covered in this stuff so that it starts to sort of marinate on there, like I say. Real liberal, huge coating, covered up. In my opinion, I don't want to see the meat through the rub that I'm putting on here. Gone. Oh yeah, that stuff's white compared to the orange, or as we say around here, orange color. This one's got more white in it. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe I don't have a favorite anymore. They changed the recipe on me. For me, key word here is rub. So I'm gonna actually rub this in. I'm gonna flip it over and get it on the insides of where the bones are sticking out, so it's coming through around the bone too. And then we're gonna be ready to wrap it up and call it a day here. So I'm gonna rub it in, try to get it into the meat, and that's a good thing. Flip it over carefully and go back at it. Remember the anal retentive chef on Saturday Night Live? Well, that's basically me. I don't like having a mess anywhere that I'm working. I like to have it all nice and clean.
Can't be anal retentive if you don't have an anus.
A lot of time when they'll get clogged. So what you have to do is you have to basically turn it right side up and make the stuff jump out of it onto the meat so that it doesn't get clogged. It's harder to do left-handed. But that keeps it flowing out of the top of here real nice and gives me that nice even coat that I'm looking for. And I'm getting down on these things. Again, if I had my druthers, I wouldn't see any of the meat showing through the rub. I'm getting a lot on the aluminum foil, but that's going to be okay because it's going to all be ended up right tight up against the meat here when I get it flipped over. So that's really it. I got it sitting the way that I want it because I want everything to kind of drain into the meat as it's sitting. I don't care about the back of these things at all. I want everything to go down, so I'm just going to wrap them the way they are. Just give them a little bit of overlap here. A little twisty twist. Little roll. Try to get them sealed up that way. And then be in good shape. This is the smallest one, and this is the one that has probably the least amount of mustard on it, so that's going to be awesome. This is a cutting board that I think my wife stole from a model home sometime at some point that it's supposed to slide in, but it works real good, nice and thick and heavy duty for hauling your meat around. But I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, like I say, this afternoon. This morning, or right before I go to bed, I'll take them back out and have them sitting at room temperature while I get the grill going and get up and move it around. And then by the time if they go on, they'll be closer to room temperature, make them cook a little bit quicker that way, hopefully. All right, it's the next morning and I'm out here on the patio. I'll show you what I got going on out here. First, when the grill is going in this house, there has to be a drink poured. So this is simple, just Crown and Diet Pepsi. Goes well with the early morning, anytime before noon when you're cracking it open. Crown and Diet Pepsi works great. Got this handy little thing on top of here because for some reason dog pecker gnats love Crown and Coke. So my rig is set up or getting there. I've got my charcoal ready to light on here. You just kick on this burner and it lights up the chimney, and there's no lighter fluid involved here because lighter fluid is basically a lemon bay type of a thing. You wouldn't do that normally. So
This thing full of lighter fluid.
Real men don't use lighter fluid. I use the third burner on the grill. This is the gas section of my grill. It's going to get cleaned off here real quick. This is the smoking part, and it is filthy. So I'm going to heat this part up, burn that stuff off of there. Then I'm going to switch grates and put the clean ones over here and do the same thing, burn the stuff off of them, because like I said, I'm anal retentive chef over here. So that's going to get going. I've got the charcoal box for the smoker cleaned out, ready to go. I've got my wood chips. I use logs. They are a cherry tree that I chopped down across the street. It's like George Washington. I got those soaking. They're underneath a 10-pound weight in a 5-gallon bucket to hold them down. I've got a keg ready to go in case something pops off.
Give me a keg of beer.
And I've got my extra charcoal ready to go if I need it. And my friends are out here. Got the 3 little pigs sitting out ready to go on to the smoker. Okay, so what happens now is this thing is ready to rock. You can see no more smoke coming out of it. And I'm going to dump it down in that thing with some gloves on, and I'm going to throw the meat on. One key instrument here is going to be the fire glove. And I got some tongs to adjust these coals when I get them down in there. I'm going to lay out my wood right on the charcoal evenly. Nice little bit. Way too much charcoal. So that's awesome. But that's going to do good to get the grill heated up fast and start to cook, and then I can worry about the extra getting the smoke going correctly, getting that fired up. I'm going to level these out in here so there's no big castle or mountain or anything like that going on. So that delicious juice drips right back on there. Too bad you can't smell this, Mom, because it smells amazing. But if you buy this rig that I got and then follow my recipe, you can taste it yourself. So before I shut that down, I want to show you this. Over here, I got my arsenal going. Got a spray bottle of my Wick marinade here that I spray on. Compliments of Wick. It's 0 sugar, so that's not awesome, but it's black cherry. I like to cook it with cherry. To get started off, I'm gonna put the Honey Hog barbecue. I'm gonna drench it down with this. I'm gonna cover it again completely before it gets going here. And then I've got Parquet spray butter. You can use any spray butter, but this one you can see has been used before for this type of an activity, but works really good. Keeps the juices going. So right now I'm gonna hose the stuff down with this. I'm really making an attempt to use this whole jar of this stuff while I cook. And I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I'm going for it. It's not going to happen by a long shot. Remember to keep it tilted upright and make this stuff jump out of it in case it gets clogged, because that happens constantly. Get a nice, huge, fat, thick, even coat over that. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to set my intervals to every half hour to start off with, and I might change that to every 45 minutes once I get going, but every half hour to start off. I'm going to be popping this thing open. I'm going to be losing all of my heat out of here at that time to check on this stuff, because I want to make sure I don't have any hot spots going or anything like that. And when I do that, I'm going to be dumping a bunch of either this stuff back on there, or I'm going to be hitting it with the old Parquet. I can't believe it's not Parquet. And then also spray it down every third time, I guess, with the cherry juice. So here we go. So far we've gone up to 72 degrees in the meat somehow that quickly, and we just jumped up to 203 as the ambient temperature in there. So I don't want it to get too much hotter than that, quite honestly, because I want to go slow and low on these, so I'm going to be paying close attention to that on the app on my phone, and I'll be back as soon as it's time to check it again here. Alright, let's see what we got going here. 132 on the meat and 195 on the ambient temperature. This guy says it's at 200. Nothing coming out of there, so I want some more smoke coming out of there, so I'm going to add some more logs here once we take a look at this. Looking real good, looking a little bit dry. I think we can fix that with our friends Parquet. And down in the box, time for some more wood, it looks like. So what's going on in here is I'm just hosing this down. This one up front so you can see it right off the bat, but I'm getting this thing saturated as best I can with as much butter as I can get on here until my finger gives out. Get it nice and yellow. I'm going to do them all like that. I'm going to continue to do this because I don't want it drying out on me as it's cooking. And that'll do for round 2. See how much heat we lost here. Went down to 128 in the meat, no big deal. 159 is popping up a little bit. So you see the smoke starting to roll out of the chimney there. And that's what we want to see. We want that smoke cooking it for us. We're also going to check out our fire here, see what's going on down in here. I got those 2 logs. I don't like to normally see a flame coming off of them. It indicates to me it's a little bit too hot. So I'm probably going to shut that damper a little bit, and then again adjust this chimney one up here too to just kind of turn that down and get it smoking rather than baking. All right, so now we're at 158. We're getting really close on the temperature there. Ambient's 184, which I really like. Thermometer up here says it's up over 200. Smoke is bellowing out of there like we need it to. I'm going to crack it open and hose it down with some more spray butter here. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Smoke right in the eyes, so that's perfect. So yeah, I'm going to hose it down here again with some more spray butter. Okay, we're at 155 on the meat, 177 on the temperature. Crack it open here, lose a little bit of heat, and hose it down again with the cherry juice. Keep everything nice and wet in here. I don't want anything getting dried out on us. You see in there, through there, that the bone is starting to come out through a lot of the ribs, and that's what we're going for. We want that stuff sticking out of there because that's when it seems like it's going to fall off the bone. Get this closed up. See what the fire's doing in here. Yep. Looks like we could use a little bit more wood on there. Keep some smoke going. So I'll knock that on here and we'll keep at it. Okay, so we made it. We're there. We're at 165 on the meat. That's looking pretty good to me. I think we got this. See a lot of bone sticking through there like I want to on the one side. So I'm gonna pull these off of there and show you what the next step is. Okay, here's this thing. I'm gonna take them from here, flop them on here, hose them down with some butter, maybe put a little bit more of the rub on there, and then wrap them up. Then they're gonna go in the refrigerator for I think about 15 minutes, maybe 20. Let them congeal, soak that stuff back up inside them, come out, be room temperature, and cut them up, and I'll show you how to do that. So, first, carefully rip this guy out of here. Looking good, right? I put it on here real careful because of those bones sticking out. Trying to go through the aluminum foil. It's real simple with this stuff. This is again Parquet squeeze butter. We'll squirt this right on here. A little healthy like that. Do a little bit more of this stuff while nobody's looking. Kind of cheat on that a little bit, give us a little bit more flavor, and then flip it over and rewrap it. Just like so. One down, two to go. The other thing that can happen when you start cutting these ribs up is that Sarge just shows up. No matter where you are, I don't care what state you're in, Sarge will just come to there and help you cut those ribs up. So I already cut some of these up. Got a little mess going here, but I want to show you what they look like when they come out. This will be rack number 2. This little piggy, his house out of sticks. A nice rack.
Nice rack.
Nice rack.
Nice rack. Nice rack.
The way I like to cut these, take the biggest knife you can find in your whole house. If you can't find a big knife in your whole house, go to your neighbor's house and find the biggest knife that they got. And I do it from the back. I start at one end and I cut right up against one of the ribs. And I just keep doing that, right up against the ribs. That way, you got all your meat on one side and some rib on the other side that you just gnaw on. Slice these things up. But this is what they look like when you get done with them. They got a lot of flavor coming on the outside. Got a nice smoke ring about them. Inside's a little bit charred up, but that's kind of the cost of being the boss. But that thing's ready to go. I put mine in a big bowl for some reason. I guess so later I can just eat it like popcorn. And the other thing is, whatever doesn't fit in the bowl, too bad. You got to eat it right then and there. This is going to be the third rack. And it was the last one to come off because it wasn't quite done according to their mom and dad. Try to save on that juice. It's helpful for later. Let's see. Got the rib coming right through there. Trying to get through all of them. And again, just use the back as your guide. Go right up against one. Do the old slice-a-reno. These are nice and thick. Show you that up close too. How about that? Nice little smoke ring in there. Good stuff. Yeah, I hope this rack doesn't fit in there because this is the best one so far. Nice and juicy. Super tender. Alright, there you have it. That's my ribs. Give them a shot. Tell me what you think.